Go Island is brought to you by German Auto Import Network.
Still snowing, the art of Butoh dance, InFrinGinG Dance Festival in increments, and Fringetastic. We're talking about all of that today on Go. On today's show, swimming from Gabriola to Nanaimo, a community free of feral cats, and riding a Voyager canoe. That and more in the next 30 minutes. You are watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. This is Genevieve Johnson. She's a Nanaimo-based dancer working on a piece called Still Snowing. It's a form of dance called Butoh, and we're going to tell you more about that later on this edition of Go Island and when you can catch some of the performances and participate in a workshop. It's all part of InFrinGinG in Increments and the Fringetastic Theatre Festival. We're going to start, though, with a lady on a mission wanting to make an impact on childhood cancer. A local swimmer has dedicated herself to swimming across the Georgia Strait to raise funds for cancer research. Here's Jocelyn Matwee. Samira will be swimming from Gabriola Island to Nanaimo on Sunday, August the 25th. She'll be leaving Descano Bay on Gabriola, arriving at Sawayalana Lagoon. It all starts at about 9 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, and it's to raise funds for kids with cancer. You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. We're here with Butoh dance artist Genevieve Johnson. She's from Nanaimo. Butoh is something that not a lot of people are familiar with, and I've experienced it once, and I can't say that I understand it.
Well, Butoh is contemporary Japanese dance, very expressionistic, and for me, it's a poetry in motion. So it's a lot of sensation and images transformed into movement. It's very personal because everybody has is understanding of those images, but it's also very universal. So if I can give you an example,
sure.
If I'm asking you to become a seaweed, so we all have the universal understanding of that seaweed being, supported by water and floating, but at the same time, it's my experience of the seaweed. So I'm from back east, and that seaweed that I experienced was in the lake and from the bottom, and I can feel my body moving from the bottom up into that supporting water. You're from, or somebody from back west here,
yeah.
Then you have that kelp. The first time I saw that with that big ball at the beginning of it and that tail, so there's that big bubble floating and then the rest kind of dangling from there. So your experience of the seaweed is very personal, and mine is very personal as well, and we interpret it differently.
Your movements sort of show a calm day too. I might be remembering a stormy day.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
Picturing a stormy day.
Exactly.
And talking about personal connection, this is your wedding dress.
Yes, it is.
And how is that incorporated into the piece Still Snowing?
Well, I do really love fabric and props, and then when I got married, then I thought it was such a beautiful piece of fabric, so I should do something one day with it. And then I started playing with it, and it reminded me of sea foam and snow and all that. So I started playing and floating in it. And
it looks like Butoh is a real, as all dance I think is, but the human form is very much on display. Mm-hmm. And it looks like it's really difficult to do.
Yeah, well, it's very intense, so there's a lot of things happening inside, and it's stormy, but at the same time, we want to have that stillness and that slowness to kind of reawaken all little muscles that are forgotten in our body. So we want to keep the outer body very slow, but the inside quite furious. And this is a dance of in between, of hesitation. We don't much care about where you start and where you finish. Like in ballet, you want to get there. Mm-hmm. But in Butoh, it's all what can happen in between those two. So it can take half an hour, it can take an hour just to get to that final point. So what we're interested in is the journey in between, and how the body moves and get there by being aware of every little part of your body. So it's very intense for the dancer, but also very intense for the public sometimes.
Genevieve, thank you. Butoh, in a very small nutshell, we're going to talk later about a workshop that you can participate in and the performance of Still Snowing, which takes place on Saturday, 9 o'clock at the Vancouver Island Conference Centre Dodds Narrows Room. Still Snowing, part of InFrinGinG, part of Fringetastic. We'll be back with more after a short break. Still to come today on Go, rehoming feral cats on Gabriola Island, a big summer adventure in Williams Lake, and time is running out. It's another edition of Clocked. That and more still to come today on Go. You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. We're here at Harbour Dance Centre in downtown Nanaimo talking Butoh, Still Snowing, InFrinGinG, and Fringetastic. We'll get into more details of that in just a few moments. But first, Gabriola Island has been able to do what many communities have not been able to achieve, entirely get rid of or find homes for all of the cats in need. Rayanne LaPlante finds out now how they did it. We're having quite a chuckle behind the scenes here because Cats Alive is hosting an annual garage sale on Saturday the 24th at Jean's house. And of course, you must know who Jean is. We just met her in the story. And Jean, it's Gabriola Jean.
Gabriola Jean.
Not Nanaimo Jean.
Not Nanaimo Jean.
No, but we are talking now about Fringetastic and InFrinGinG, which takes place in Nanaimo, but extends to Gabriola too. And Jean, you're welcome to join us in any of the productions.
We invite all Gabriolans, and in fact, it's at the conference center, so there's lots of opportunity to get off that ferry and walk right on over.
Easy to get to. So tell me a bit about the partnership, because I know InFrinGinG partnered with the Dragon Boats, and now you're partnering with Fringetastic.
We wanted to have the festival last all summer long, just have dancing in the community throughout the summer. And we also wanted to have an opportunity to reconnect with our roots in a couple of ways. One was to get outside and do free performances, which is what we did with Dragon Boat. And then also we wanted to connect with Fringetastic, because actually that's where InFrinGinG Dance Festival started. And it started in 96, 97. And that festival went away and it's returned, and we wanted to return to our roots and get involved with our community more intensely again.
Excellent. Yeah, and there's a lot of activities that take place at the Fringe Hub, which is the Vault downtown this year, and you're actually in the program lineup. So if you want to see any of Crimson Coat's performances, which this is one of, Still Snowing, it takes place at the conference center. The best place to go for details is fringetastic.com or crimsoncoastdance.org. Okay, we're going to come back and talk more about Butoh dance and your opportunity to participate in a workshop, but we're heading up to Williams Lake now for a ride aboard a Voyager canoe in our Butoh RV's Big Summer. You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. We're exploring a little bit the art of Butoh, a Japanese modern dance that doesn't look easy to do, but Genevieve Johnson is going to be leading a workshop on Friday night. What can participants expect by participating?
It's a very short workshop. Usually workshops are longer because of the slowness and stillness, but we're going to explore more the poetry of the dance, how words can inspire movement, how we can do and make poetry in motions. So I'm going to lecture a little bit about what is Butoh, and then do a few exercises, and then just for about 50 minutes an hour.
Okay, and it's for anybody. I was reassured that you're not going to sweat.
No, not too much. And it's not a form, it's not formal, it's really personal. So it's improvisation, it's really from what you do and who you are. So everybody can do it. You don't need to have any technical background.
Should you bring some poetry? Bring some writings?
Well, if you have some, but you don't need at all. I have some images and some words to work with and to be inspired.
Excellent. That's all part of the Fringetastic Theatre Festival, part of InFrinGinG increments as part of Fringetastic. It all makes sense, and you really should get out and participate. You can take a Butoh workshop with Genevieve Friday night, 9 o'clock at the Vault, which is also the Fringe Hub in downtown Nanaimo. We're going to throw things over now to Todd Jones. We're sending the boys on another scavenger hunt for information. I'd call that one a tie. That brings us to the end of this edition of Go Island. If you'd like information on Fringetastic or InFrinGinG or them both, there are two websites you can visit, fringetastic.com or crimsoncoastdance.org. One more event to tell you about before we sign off for today, the Jazz Superstar Concert, the second annual from the Nanaimo Conservatory of Music, takes place on Thursday. That's August the 22nd at Acme Food Company. Quite the lineup. I'm going to read from their press release. Ken Lister, Christine Jensen, Ingrid Jensen, and Joel Miller and guests belong to an elite class of internationally renowned Canadian musicians, and they all share a connection to Central Vancouver Island. You can catch them all at Acme Food Company this Thursday night at 7 o'clock. For more information, call 754-1611. That brings us to the end of this edition of Go Island. Thank you to Genevieve and to Holly Bright as well. We'll see you at Fringetastic.
Go Island is brought to you by German Auto Import Network. Clothing supplied by Catwalk Fashions. Kate's Hair and Aesthetics provided by Maffeo Salon.